Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I met Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich back in November, and it was for the second time, and it was probably the best experience of my life. So I decided that I'm going to do my makeup and tell you about that a little bit and give you some horror facts, give you some Scream behind the scenes facts. Disclaimer, I can't confirm that all of them are correct. Do not come for me if they're not. One of them I know is a fact because Skeet Ulrich told me himself, and it was just like the craziest experience of my life. We'll start with meeting Skeet and Matt. I've met them one time prior, and they are just like some of the nicest people I've ever met. I go to conventions a lot. I meet a lot of famous people at these conventions. I pay for it. I'm not her, you know, I'm not him. I feel like I can't multitask. Here we go. Oh shit. I have a makeshift tripod right now. I have a makeshift. I met Skeet and Matt for the second time back in November. I met them like 2 or 3 years ago just for a photo op. This time I met them for a photo op as well as autograph. So I was at Rhode Island Comic-Con for the entire weekend. I went there Friday night and I met Skeet. I got his autograph. I was dressed as, or cosplaying as, Billy Loomis. Of course, that was a last minute decision because I had only planned out that I was going to cosplay Sydney on Saturday when I met them. And then I decided that morning I needed to come up with a cosplay. So I basically got a plain white shirt that I had and I put a bunch of fake blood on it. And I met Skeet that night and I got his autograph, waited in line. That's the only thing, is that you have to wait in line for a while. Finally got up to the front, walked up, and he immediately knew that like I was cosplaying him, and he like went in for a hug and he was like, "Oh my god, you look so great," blah blah blah. So I ended up getting the aged Ghostface mask signed by him, which was so crazy, like standing there and like watching him sign it. And that's so crazy seeing these people that you've been watching for a while sign something that you get to keep. So we're standing there and he takes my mask, he signs like part of it, and then and mind you, I had blood all over my shirt, and I think I had it on my face too, like on my cheek or something. And he looks at me straight in the eyes and he goes, "Shaving cream." What? I said this to Skeet Ulrich. What? He says, "For the blood." And I was like, huh? He said on the set of Scream, when they were filming all the scenes with fake blood, that they would use shaving cream to take off the fake blood. Granted, I don't think that they were using Spirit Halloween blood. A lot of horror movies, that when they use blood, they're actually using lube mixed with like color and like whatever else. And yeah, he was like, "Shaving cream." Like and then he goes, "Well, actually, I'm sure that you probably have a different way to take it off." Like, I was like, "Yeah, sorry, Skeet, I don't travel with shaving cream like that." He was like, "Yeah, no, I mean, you're probably a pro. You probably know what you're doing. You know how to get it off." And I was like, I do. But hey, thank you so much for the advice. And so yeah, that's what they all used on the set of Scream to take off fake blood when they were filming. And I thought that was so cool because that was also like something that I had never heard of before from like behind the scenes stuff with Scream. So I felt very privileged and I was very excited. I geeked out a little bit after I left. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that just happened." That was so cool. So, pro tip by Skeet Ulrich. So the next day, that was the day that I was getting Matt's autograph as well as getting a photo op with both of them. And this day I was dressed as Sydney Prescott. And over the past few years, like the last 3 years I've been cosplaying her, I think, really like just gotten her look down pat, and I'm very happy with it. It's one of those cosplays that like I'm gonna keep doing, and I love how it looks. When we got in, I went immediately to his autograph area because I just knew that it was gonna take a while. Little did I know, his line was absurd. I don't think, besides Charlie Hunnam, he went to Rhode Island Comic Con the year before, and I met him as well. I've never seen a line that crazy. Like, yes, Skeet's was crazy too, but like, and I think they both had overflow. So like, there's people on the ground, and then there's also people up in like the bleachers and stuff, because it was at like, some hockey arena or whatever. So we waited. My mom actually ended up coming in with me, because like I've been going to cons since 2014, I think was my first one. And she's never like come to any of them. So I was like, I think we should experience this together. And like, it gets to be Matt Lillard that like you see, like your first celebrity. We sat there in like the overflow area. I think we waited 2 hours. Still didn't even meet him yet. Crazy. Actually, the only other person that I waited that long for was Neve Campbell, who plays Sydney Prescott. I met her a few years back. It was crazy. So like we finally, after just a little bit, we finally got on the floor and we were waiting. They had a panel that I wanted to go to, but did not like want to leave my spot. They left to do the panel, still waiting, got pretty close up, and then they were like, sorry guys, now it's their photo op time. And that's also my photo op. I have to go meet them, like, in addition to that. So, like, they gave us all numbers, whatever. Chat, I've also noticed that I say way too many times, and I'm trying to correct that. I had to take a lot of that out on my other videos. So, bear with me. All, like, left the line, and I was, like, 6 people away or something from Matt. So then I had to leave the line, go to meet Skeet and Matt. And so I'm waiting in line, and like this compliment, like it's still stuck in my head, and it just like, it meant like so much as like a horror fan, as a Sydney Prescott fan. I get into the line, and this guy like turned around and did like a double take and looked back at me, and he goes, like, looked me up and down. He goes, whoa, like you really look like her. And I was like, that's the best compliment I've ever received in my entire life. Thank you so much for that. What the fuck is going on up there? So we like got in line, and like I was so excited. I like couldn't wait. Like meeting them in my Sydney cosplay has been like a goal of mine, like on my bucket list since I watched Scream. I think I watched Scream for the first time in either 2020 or 2021, something like that. And like since then I was like, this needs to happen. This would be such a cool moment. So I get up to meet them, and they turn, like they're saying bye to the person that's in front of me, and I get up and they turn around and they're like, oh my God. And I was like, cool, amazing. They're on either side, I'm in the middle, we do our photo, whatever. And this is still so crazy to me. Like if you like a celebrity, like you know how cool it is when you have like a good interaction with them. So I say, thank you so much, appreciate it, go to walk away. My hand is behind me, like to walk, like a fucking cartoon or something. I go and I walk away. I feel somebody grab my hand, like grab not my hand, but like my arm, like my forearm, and like pull me back. So I turn around. Matthew Lillard is holding my arm, looking at me. He says, "You make a beautiful Tatum." I look at him and I go, oh my God. And then I look at Skeet and he looks at me and goes, haha, that's funny. I was like, unbelievable. Oh my God. And I just laugh and I like walk away. Cause like, if you don't get it, like Tatum is her best friend who got, and like I was not Tatum. So like that was just like, it was so funny. Like it was so good. Like Matthew Lillard joked around with me. Like what is happening? So I go back up to get my autograph and of course we like fucking wait forever again. Finally, we're in line, getting ready to meet him. I walk up and mind you, both Skeet and Matt hug you when you go up and hug you when you leave. So like just they want to make sure that like the experience is good. So I walk up and he says, hey, and I hug him, whatever. And then he looks at the mask that I'm getting signed, looks back at me, and he grabs my forearms and says, seriously though, like, you look so amazing. This man remembered me from the photo op. And he remembered what he said to me. Seriously though, like, you look amazing. I just about died. I was like, thank you. Like, it really, like, it means a lot. And then he like hugged me again. And then he went back and he signed the mask. He went to go give me the mask. Thank you so much. And he says, it's in my hands and it's in his hands, like passing something. So then he goes, hold on. And he takes the mask back and he takes the marker. So he's like signing the mask and he goes to like what I think is like to draw a mustache on the mask. And I was like, this man, I love you, but please, I hope you're not drawing a mustache on my ghost face mask. Like, I'm gonna have a conniption if he does that. So he does like a little thing and then he turns back to the crowd and was like, I've never done this before. I like it. And he turns to me and goes, yours is unique. And so he hands me the mask and he drew a little heart on the mask, which like the mustache area, which was why I thought it was a mustache to begin with. He goes to give me a hug and he was like, literally, it was so crazy. Like, you watch these people growing up, never think that you get to meet them, and then like this happens to you. And because like before Scream, I loved him as Shaggy in Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo is a core love of mine. It was my childhood, as they say. So like I'm hugging him and he just keeps hugging me, keeps talking. He's like, you know what? I think after today, I want a drink. I need a drink. Who knows how to make a drink? And then he starts like talking to random people like out in the crowd or whatever. And all while just hugging me. And I was like, what is going on? And it's not that I'm like holding on to him for dear life. He just keeps hugging me. And I was like, this is so weird. Not weird, but like so crazy. He says to me, he was like, thank you so much. Like, thank you so much for coming out. Like, I really appreciate it. And he's like rubbing my back or whatever. And I was like, this is so, like, this is everything that you want and more when you're meeting like one of your favorite celebrities. If somehow Matthew or Skeet is seeing this video right now, thank you for being so nice. I only see nice stories when people meet you. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. That was my little story about how I met the nicest people ever. So now for some little Scream facts. Like I said, there's some in this that I knew about and I was like, oh yeah, valid, cool. Some I've never heard about. So if they're not true, if you know that they're not true, don't come at me. The first one is that Scream is actually based on a real life serial killer. Basically, there was this guy, I'm not even gonna give him a name because fuck that guy. In 1991, he went on a 4-day, I believe it was, spree in Florida, Gainesville, Florida, I believe. And he 5 students. Before that, he just on Wikipedia that I saw, so can never guarantee Wikipedia is actually like true or not, but I guess he like people before that as well. So the second fact, and I knew about this. I know that this is true. The party scene at the end of the movie when they're at Stu's house, Matthew Lillard, that is known as the party scene. It runs for 42 minutes in the movie, and it shot over 21 days. And they would shoot from sunset to sunrise. And as soon as it was done, as soon as they were done filming, they made shirts, like the crew made shirts that said, "I survived scene 118," because that was scene 118 that they had filmed. The crew calls it the longest night in horror history. So I thought that was crazy, because also, like, that's 42 minutes is half of that movie. Matt Lillard, he is Stu Macher, and he was actually cast basically by accident. He was in the same studio, like, I don't know what they call it, like casting agency building as the Scream auditions were being held. And he was there for a completely unrelated thing. He was there for an audition for his girlfriend at the time. And one of the casting agents saw him and just like was like, "Oh my God, this like might be our Stu Macher." So then she got him to audition. I think it was a woman that got him to audition. And that was that. And that is how Matt Lillard was able to play Stu Macher in Scream. The other person that we're going to talk about with casting is Courtney Cox. And they did not want to cast Courtney Cox because she obviously at the time was known as playing Monica Geller in Friends. And if you know anything about Monica, she's kind of like the complete opposite of Gale Weathers. She's a neat freak, very hyper, very like on the friendlier side, which is the complete opposite of Gale Weathers. But she just kept campaigning for herself, and she eventually got the job. Another funny one is that they were actually supposed to film at Santa Rosa High School. And right before they were supposed to film, they basically were told that they cannot film there anymore because of the violent nature of the movie. So they ended up changing locations. And in the end credit scenes, when they say like thank yous or whatever, Wes Craven decided to put in, and no thanks whatsoever to the Santa Rosa City School District Governing Board. I just love a salty king. Another fun fact is the scene where Ghostface comes up behind Randy. That is the only time where, spoiler alert if you have not seen Scream, but this movie is 29 years old, get with it. The only time where one of the killers is actually in the costume. It was a stunt double the other times. And if you want to take a guess, I'll give you like 5 seconds to guess who was actually in the suit. He begged to be in the suit. And that person is Skeet Ulrich. If you know Scream at all, one of the most popular quotes of that show, of that movie, which is actually how Matthew Lillard announced that he's coming back to the Scream universe, is, "My mom and dad are going to be so mad at me." That was ad-libbed by Matthew Lillard, and once he did that, Wes Craven loved it so much that he decided to keep that in the movie. Another one that was ad-libbed was at the end of the movie again, when Stu is talking to Sydney. He says, "I've always had a thing for you, Sid." And she says, "In your dreams." That was also ad-libbed by both of them. So Matt said it, and then Nev just came right back with that response. So the movie obviously starts off with Drew Barrymore. She's home alone. She gets a call from a stranger. That's how Ghostface operates. And they play a little game to see if Casey Becker is going to or not. Spoiler alert, she does. The way that the movie was advertised, the movie poster, top billing was Drew Barrymore, because they wanted to make it seem as if she lived throughout this movie. They wanted to make it seem as if she was like the final girl. They killed her off in the first, 12, 15 minutes or something in that first scene. Because they wanted to throw off the audience. And I love when they do stuff like that. I just think it's really cool. It's really fun. Another not fun fact, but still a fact. At the end of the movie, when the whole fight scene is happening and Sydney is in the closet, she comes out in the Ghostface outfit and she has the umbrella and she stabs Billy in the heart. That was a stunt person. A stunt person went to go hit Skeet Ulrich in the heart. He actually did not hit the pad that was there. He hit like his actual like heart or whatever, and he had metal wiring there from when he was a kid because he had heart surgery. So the scream and like the pain on Skeet Ulrich's face that's actually in the movie is his actual real pain from getting hit right in the heart. So we're gonna go back to the beginning of the movie when Ghostface is chasing Casey Becker around her house. There's a scene where Ghostface smashes his head through a window. Drew hits him in the face. That is actually Wes Craven that's under the mask. And then the scene shortly after that, when Billy goes into Sydney's room, when he sneaks through her window, he can be seen eyeing the door a little bit to make sure that it's unlocked, because it gives away the fact that he is Ghostface. And this was actually Skeet Ulrich's idea. And again, Wes Craven loved it, so he decided to keep it in. One of our fan favorites, Deputy Dewey, he was actually going to die at the end of the movie, at the end of Scream. Once it was actually tested with audiences, they loved him so much that they decided to keep him alive, and they decided to have that whole end scene where he goes to the hospital. But if you watch, when Gail actually goes into the house to try to save Sydney from Billy and Stu, and she is hit by Billy, I think, with the gun, Gail lands on him. He's not breathing. Any scene that we see after that, he's not breathing. My last fact that I have is Wes Craven asked KNB Effects for a custom mask for Ghostface, and once they got back to him with the mask, he didn't like it. But however, it is used in the film for the scenes where Principal Himbry is, and at the very beginning when Casey Becker is. All the other times you can see a slight difference in the mask, and that's the new one that they ended up using because he wanted to get the rights to like some other mask I think that they had already owned, and that wasn't working out. But he did eventually get the rights, and then that is the Ghostface mask that we know now. That is the end of my video. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. If you haven't seen Scream, what are you doing? Go watch the movie right now and then come back and tell me how you liked it. But thank you so much for watching. I will have all my social links like down in the bio. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!